Today we're looking at Veterans Day. Hello, welcome to the Daily Bellringer. Please don't forget to subscribe and take a look at the questions down in the description. The United States of America would not exist today if not for the sacrifice and service of Americans willing to serve in our armed forces. Therefore, it's fitting that we have a holiday each year to recognize and honor their service to the nation. So each year on November 11th in the United States, we have Veterans Day, a day to pause and thank those who have served and who are currently serving the country. But how did this holiday begin and become what we have today? For the origins of Veterans Day, we have to look back at World War I, which raged across Europe from 1914 to 1918. The size of World War I was something unlike the world had ever seen, with an estimated 60 million soldiers involved in the conflict. Furthermore, the development and introduction of new military technology into warfare, such as armored tanks, air warfare, and the use of chemical weapons, shocked the world in its astonishing carnage and death toll. Estimates are that over 9 million died in the war. The war began to be called the Great War or the War to End All Wars, as people believed there could never again be a war on this scale. The United States did not enter the war until April of 1917, and it's estimated that over 4.5 million American servicemen were mobilized to serve in the war, joining the other Allied powers such as France, Britain, and Russia to fight the Central Powers led by Germany and Austria-Hungary. During the war, over 50,000 Americans would die. The Treaty of Versailles would be signed on June 28, 1919 in Versailles, France, officially ending the war. However, fighting had ceased over 6 months before that. Early in November 1918, an armistice, which is an agreement to stop fighting for a period of time, was signed between the opposing sides. The agreement was that the fighting would cease on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Therefore, November 11th became a day to remember and what many considered to be the true end of the war to end all wars. The following year, in November of 1919, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed Armistice Day as a day to remember the end of the war and honor those who had served. About 20 years later, in May of 1938, Congress made Armistice Day an official federal holiday, which was meant to recognize veterans of World War I. However, just a few years later, World War II would erupt, in which an estimated 70 million would fight for either the Allies or the Axis powers. An estimated 16.1 million Americans served during World War II, with over 400,000 Americans giving their lives in the war. World War II, which was even larger and more catastrophic than World War I, ended in 1945. Americans now wanted Armistice Day to also recognize those that were involved in the Second World War, and then shortly thereafter, thousands more Americans were involved in the Korean War. So on June 1st, 1954, Congress designated November 11th as a day to honor all veterans who served in any capacity during wartime or peacetime. From there, the holiday was observed on November 11th, regardless of what day of the week it landed on. But in 1968, the Uniform Holiday Act was passed, moving President's Day, Columbus Day, Memorial Day, and Veterans Day to the closest Monday, hence giving Americans a 3-day weekend. For several years, this led to confusion as everyone was kind of accustomed to recognizing November 11th as the historical date of the end of World War I. So in 1975, President Gerald Ford moved the holiday back to November 11th. Today, it's estimated that the United States has 1.3 million active duty servicemen and women, along with an estimated 20.4 million veterans. In a nation with a population close to 330 million today, that's a very small percentage who have been willing to serve. So with that in mind, I encourage you on Veterans Day, take a moment and call a family member or a friend that you know that is serving or has served in the past and thank them. Send them a card or maybe send them a quick email or text telling them you appreciate their service. So many times our society only wants to focus on wartime service, but all who decided to serve deserve to be honored. Our military servicemen and women have decided to basically put their lives on hold for the sake of everyone else and serve. So again, I strongly encourage you to not take Veterans Day for granted and just a day off of school or a day to relax and watch TV. Take the time to thank those that have been willing to serve in order that our freedoms are protected. So with that, hopefully you learned something, and thanks for watching.